Hello. My name is Insane Raven, and we are back with another episode of Tales of the Hunt podcast. Now, this is going to be a weird one because, for the most part, I don't know how useful this podcast is going to be. I say that because I got this platinum trophy, the platinum trophy for Borderlands 3, before any of the DLC has come out. So I'm not sure of the easier ways of getting some of these trophies. I'm not sure of how much the meta has changed, but I'm still going to talk about it from my perspective from when I platinumed this way back in 2019. I was very excited for Borderlands 3. It was one of the games that had been rumored around for a while, but no one really thought it was going to be coming out. So when the game came out, I decided I was going to dedicate pretty much all of my time to it until I got the platinum trophy. And it's a pretty big game, all in all. I'll talk a little bit about my feelings of the actual story and all that stuff more towards the end. So if you want to get a more in-depth look at that, I'll give a spoiler warning, just in case you haven't finished the game, just in case you've been waiting for it to be $20, the Handsome Collection always seems to be, Borderlands Game of the Year Edition always seems to be. But I absolutely love the Borderlands franchise. So when Borderlands 3 finally did come out, it was yes, this is the game I want to play. The first trophy I got was You Got Skills, getting to level 2, not a big deal at all. Build right over them, kill an enemy with an exploding barrel. I got that super early, to the point where it's actually how I leveled up to level 2. So we're not that's more of a trophy that you just need to know that it's there. I will say, similar to the Minecraft episode of the podcast, I did do a lot of the trophy hunting with my good friend Justin X Fluffy for a good chunk of these. So even though you're not going to be seeing anything in this podcast today, a lot of the trophies were gotten with a friend, because of course they were. It's Borderlands. Borderlands is one of the few games that, especially Borderlands 3, when they kind of redid the meta and they're like, hey, if you want to set it up in a way that you both get different loots and you can kind of keep your own loot versus all having a collection of loot in the world, you can do that. A lot of the things they did in this game made it more user friendly. And just these small changes. A lot of Borderlands 3, when it comes to gameplay wise, is done very much in just a simple, not simple, but more of a streamlined kind of way. That's the word I was looking for, streamlined. Then there's the Children of the Fold, Welcome to the Crimson Raiders story mission. I hope you didn't teabag, win a duel. Like I said, me and my friend Justin X Fluffy, just gonna call him Justin from here on out, we definitely did go into this game with the intention of, we are gonna platinum this game, let's go all in from the very get-go. We're not holding anything back, we're just gonna go for it. Feeling a little stabby, it's kill an enemy, knifing them with a gun blade. That is any gun that has basically a curved knife attachment onto it. It is not that hard to get. I just want to look. Yeah, so essentially you just punch, shank. I will say that I did do this as Mose the robot. It's why the thumbnail that you are currently staring at has Mose on it. Next trophy was Starbound, reached level 10. So Long Pandora, taking flights just by doing all of that. A lot of the story missions, just story trophies are based off of doing specific story missions. If I remember properly, I'm not 100% sure on this, but a lot of the story trophies were based off of us finishing story missions, not a set of missions and then getting one. I believe that's the case. I'm not entirely sure if I'm remembering that 100% correctly, but that is how I remember it. Now, the next trophy that I got is something that I find very offensive to me. is Florida Man. It is down yourself by grenade or explosion. I personally don't give a shit. Very easy trophy. I think I was using a bouncing grenade here. Or no. Here's what happened. Justin got this trophy because he's an idiot. So he intentionally blew himself up. Accidentally blew himself up with his own grenade. Told me he got a trophy for it, and then I immediately turned around and did it myself. Because I have trophy addiction. Hi, my name is Hinton Raven. I have been a long time sufferer of a trophy addiction. I'm just really going to need some help. All joking aside, if you are addicted, go get help. There are probably services somewhere around that can help you. Coolio. Alright. Stay away from the lights. Revive another player. It's pretty simple. I think all Borderlands trophy games had one of those trophies. Knock it off. This is a trophy for completing the hostile takeover mission. This is one of the first missions where I feel that Borderlands 3 starts to suffer. Because a lot of the issues with Borderlands 3 was that it essentially had a lot of promise it had to fulfill. It had, at this point, so many different characters that it needed to incorporate or kind of like handle or deal with in one way or another. So we're talking about Reese, we're talking about, Tiny Tina, we're talking about the girl whose name I'm currently forgetting because she's not brought up in this game at all, despite being in Tale of the Borderlands. Her little sister, who Reese kind of has a relationship with by the end of that game, or is leaning towards a relationship in that kind of way. There's Voss, there's Vaughn, there's Psycho Mantis. This is not Psycho Mantis, that's Psycho Craig, not Psycho Mantis. Psycho Mantis is from Metal Gear Solid. Brain, let's go. I know it's 8:30 in the morning. I know you're recording this the day of. I know you're behind. You need to get on top of things, my brain. But back to what I was saying. This is one of the first missions in the game where you start to see that, yes, you're not really gonna get everything you're hoping for here. Reese is pretty much a hologram the whole time until he does show up, kind of being skittish and scared and whatever. You do get Zero showing up, and Myra, you do get there too, coming in. Salvador is saved for DLC, and Cage doesn't make an appearance at all, despite showing up in as other DLC. And on again, off again. No. Other DLC in the pre-sequel, this was a game that essentially had so many characters, it couldn't incorporate them all. And Knock It Off is the first trophy where you start to see that kind of being the case. Tips appreciated. Tip Moxie. This is one of the ones that you have to tip an absolute obscene amount. I remember that. It is an amount that is oh, I must be doing this wrong. Because obviously I should have gotten this by now. No, it is just a lot. You just have to tip a lot. I think the tipping is somewhere on 30,000 or something like that. It is a ridiculous amount of tipping you need to do. I must ask you a question. This is where you finally get to see Reese in person. And I think you get to tell him that his mustache is stupid or it's great, and he keeps it based off of your word, because Reese is a very shallow man. But yeah, this is you get to see him in person. It's great. It just continues to do more of that. Oh hey, this could have been so much more. I don't think Borderlands 3 had to introduce a single new character, and it could have been great. I'm pretty sure they didn't have to do that. Alright, so there's that. Then there's Gone From My Sight. That was cold. That's the thing. Okay, I know I'm hopping on this a lot, but it's because I love the Borderlands franchise, and the fact that that was code where you end up killing the DLC character Aurelius, I think her name was, from the pre-sequel. Like, she comes in and you get to kill her as she's a boss. Like, they bring back characters and they're dealt with characters that you don't even think that they would bring back, but then they don't give the actual time, the actual space to other characters that they should be. But there's Hammerlock doing his whole stuff, vaulting your way to the top, reaching level 25, bolt-ons, unlocking 10 character heads on skins. The way you're gonna go do this is essentially by different missions. And then once you do those missions, you have to go in through your backpack and click on them. By clicking on them, that is when you actually unlock them. So you do have to do that. It is a small thing that you might not realize you have to do, but if you're having a little bit of a mental breakdown, that is why. You just have to go in and click it, and the game doesn't tell you that. Hail to the empty castles for completing the mission code as the grave. Gunpowder, send an item to a friend. I'm pretty sure I just did that with Justin. No big deal there. Cross the streamers. Is this? Yes. It is for completing the blood drive trophy, another story mission. Apocalypso. This is for doing another story mission. This is the fight you get with the trying to remember his name. Zane? Dane? The guy, the dude. It's for beating the guy. Personally, I love that. I absolutely loved that mission. That boss fight, I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought that was where the game kind of peaked, in my opinion, and there was still so much more to go after it. So, yeah, I know. Damn, Gina, for obtaining all vault rewards. I am 90% sure I don't know what this is, and I'm looking at the picture and I still don't know. So yeah. No idea what that's referencing. Absolutely forgot that one. I am a goddess, a glorious female warrior. Complete the mission Shadow of Starlights. Is that... yeah, that's for doing a boss fight or something. Had two different people on it helping me with that. Divine Retribution. Bye, Felicia. Is the trophy name for that officially. Yep. And that is for... I also got a little challenge there for completing all the plot missions as the Beastmaster, as I am one to do. Alright, so everything else from here on out are much more specific. These are things you actually have to do, go out of your way to do for trophies. So this is where the bulk of our stuff is going to be, essentially. Dropping loads, winning a live grenade from a slot machine. This is the slot machine that you can get on the Sanctuary ship. Just keep on hitting it until it pops out. No big deal. Just gonna take some trial and error. And it is luck based, so have fun with that. I know I didn't, but there you go. On fleek, equip purple rarity gear or better in every single gear slot. That includes your shield, your grenade, your relic, and your customization mod, as well as all of your guns. You do not need to do that for your gun charms, as I'm looking. I do have a blue and a green gun charm on two of my weapons, so you do not need to consider that as a part of your thing. That being said, everything else does have to be purple or better. This is probably one of the easier games to do it, just because of how much loot is constantly being thrown at you, and with how many different vaults there are in this game, one per planet essentially, with the exception of the monk planet. It is no big deal, this trophy. In other ones, it was much more annoying, much more a labor of love, as it were. this game, super easy in comparison. Next, a la carte, complete 20 side missions. I think this is where, yeah, just completing 20 side missions, no big deal. You will have to complete every single side mission. It is one of the things you just have to do, including beating the giant raid boss monster thing. I think it's a mission similar to how you've seen it in Borderlands 2, and similar to how you've seen it in previous Borderlands games. There was the invincible guy in the original Borderlands DLC, and I don't remember who it was in the pre-sequel off the top of my head at this moment. Don't remember who that was. My dog is freaking out in the background, so hopefully he doesn't stop barking, and otherwise I will have to get up and go deal with him. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Stay golden using a gold key. This is one of the things that I remember us getting the gold key code based off of, I think it was the box. Not the box. It was like off social media or something. But if you don't want to go ahead and do that, there are all codes and stuff hidden on the box itself that you can go ahead and do. I know that by completing, and I feel like, I'm not sure if this is accurate, but I feel like you can get a golden key from completing the main campaign mission. I believe the reason why I was holding on to them at this point is because the gear you get levels up with you, and at this point I was at level 37 when I used my first golden key. I did have 2 more, so it wasn't a big deal, but I also know that you can buy them, which is really shitty, and I don't recommend doing them because don't promote the kind of business practices in your video games. But there you go. Stick it to them. Kill 2 or more enemies with a sticky grenade. I did do this back on Pandora, where I threw it onto a skag and everything kind of blew up. This is one of the rare trophies that I played by myself, so I'm not sure what the split up was there, but it was pretty cool. Quick and easy like that. Exoarchaeology, you get the gist. Discovered all the named locations on Necrotafero. I can't say that at the same life. But a lot of the trophies were like this. The kind of going on each planet and exploring all of the areas, getting all of your maps filled out. Now looking at the picture of this trophy that you can't see because my system would have a freak out and die, I don't have the entire map filled out. There are definitely still parts of gray there that stop that from happening. But a good guide for this for these trophies in particular, and this trophy, is that by going ahead and doing all of the side missions that you have to do anyway, if you're gonna go for the platinum trophy here, you will end up getting these trophies. And if you haven't picked up all of the named location trophies, all you're gonna have to do after that is go ahead and kind of do some fine-tooth combing. When we get to one of the other trophies later, we can talk about the 2 locations that are really difficult to find. One of them is on the swamp jungle planets type thing, and another one I'm currently forgetting, but I will be reminded once we kind of go through. But yes, Exoarchaeology, you get the gist, is the trophy for doing it on the last different planet you get. Yeah, all in all, no big deal if you're going through and doing it via side missions. Mechanical, unlike 10 vehicle parts via hijacking. This is one of the things that I absolutely loved about this game. I feel like this was one of the things that Borderlands had always kind of teased, the idea of customizing your vehicles, but not really giving you any customization options. They basically was like, you can either have A or B, and you can change the color. And then in Borderlands 2, it's like, we have a wide variety of colors. And then finally in Borderlands 3, it's like, okay, you can hijack other cars, that are symboled out by locations on the map. You can go ahead and do this and that to kind of upgrade your vehicles and make them personal and make them look good and make them your unique ride. It was something that I really did appreciate, and you're gonna get this trophy for unlocking 10 of them. If you are gonna go full completionist on this game, it is something that you have to do anyway, but I personally don't recommend doing that. I feel like that's absolutely insane and would drive you absolutely crazy, but there you go. This game does do a lot of things right. Like, let's get it very clear. The game does a lot of things right. Getting perfect score at the firing range on any difficulty. I remember having to cheese this one because this trophy sucked. So, what I did to cheese this one was that I had 2 friends out on the firing range. And as we were going through, I would be shooting and then they would be shooting. So what ended up happening is that you had 3 people on the firing range at the same time, but because I hit the button, it came out as my perfect score. This is one of the only trophies on this game that you have to cheese. All the other ones are, at least back when I did it, was solid and didn't have any problems. This trophy, however, was fucking awful. So, keep in mind that if you are going for this trophy, you are going to have to cheese it. At least, I highly recommend you cheesing it, because it doesn't feel like worth you doing normally at all. I did get this trophy when I was at level 42, which at this point was only... Oh, and then there were emails, which was weird. Good against remotes is one thing. City Slicker discovered all the named locations in Promethea. This was weird because this is one of the ones that includes the Circle of Slaughters. This was ended up being the last location I had to get for this trophy. It was going into the Circle of Slaughter. Once you got there, it pops, for me anyway. All the other locations are pretty much shown off via the campaign and via side missions. So, not that difficult all in all. Biggest badass in the Borderlands this year for reaching level 50. At this point, we were still kind of doing side missions. We were still playing with other people. One of the things I really appreciated about this one is because there were slaughterhouse circles. Slaughter circles, and then you were able to gain XP from them. Versus in Borderlands 1, where they were DLC, and for some reason you couldn't grind those areas out for XP. This one you could, and it was a huge benefit. Even though we got our asses kicked so many times, we had to, did get a third player to kind of come in, because me and Justin were just suffering through this one. We were able to kind of get it done. We had it set up where I think they had set it up so that they could just throw a grenade and everything would blow up. They had a really nice build to both of their characters, and I did not. I did not have a good build in comparison. Mostly because the idea of making a specific build didn't appeal to me whatsoever. So I would just kind of look at the skills and the skill trees and be like, well, that looks fun now, so I'll take that now. Not really thinking about how pieces would interact and build with each other. So I probably could have made this much easier on myself if had I done that, but I didn't. 100 proof. Clear all the Iridian proving grounds. There's not much else I have to say here. This is just for going through Iridian 6 and completing all of the rounds. Bit annoying, but again, easy to do with another player. Justin, as I was. Swamped. Discovered all named locations in Eden 6. This is one of the ones that was absolutely awful because the Jason Waterfalls is basically not a name location whatsoever. It is tucked in behind an absolute tiny waterfall on the edge of the map. It is next to one of the Iridian script things, but it's very tiny, very tucked away, and very easy to miss. This is one of the ones that I absolutely had a nightmare time doing. And one of the ones that if you look online at the time, maybe it's been patched out now. I probably should have done some research before hitting record and just going for it. This is one of the trophies that a lot of people struggled with because it wasn't fun. And Jason Waterfalls itself is the biggest reason for that. You know, you can have the entire map cleared up and blue and still not have what you need. Very frustrating. Do not recommend. Next one. Got Big Game. This is for defeating all of Hammerlock's legendary hunts. Again, this is one of the things that I feel like they did a really good job with doing. They made the world feel much more full and realized, essentially. So when you would go on, you would see these symbols that would essentially be some sort of creature type symbol, and what you would go, you would have to kill a legendary creature of the Borderlands, and you would get massive XP for it. Hammerholic would also send you an email that would give you a little gun type thing. Really cool. As much as these were also frustrating to do at times, I felt like this was one of the things that Borderlands 3 really excelled at doing. It was like, hey, we want to kind of just enjoy giving the world more character, because the characters had characters, but I felt like in some places the world was just like, the character of the Borderlands world was, hey, we're all crazy, but there wasn't really a lot of connectivity within that, and a lot of stuff kind of going on without people there, if that makes sense. Like, if you took all the people out, is the world itself still really interesting? And I feel like with this stuff, with the, you know, with the legendary hunts, with the stealing of cars, with Zero's assassination contracts, those were the things that, okay, taking out all the big players of this game and of this world, you still have a really interesting world here. So I absolutely love this one. You just have to look out for the symbols of the I'm trying to describe the symbol, but I don't really know how to describe it. It looks like it kind of looks like Hammerlock himself, like his hat, but more skeletal. So that's fun. Oh, it's also very rare. Like, only 9.9% of people had done that, all in all. The rewards card. Earn a loyalty package by each gun manufacturer. This trophy sucked. So essentially, what you need to do is you need to use a specific brand of gun until you get an email from that gun manufacturer as a thank you for using that gun a lot. I think the gun, you have to kill about, I think it's a ridiculous number, but it's a couple hundred enemies per thing. So what I ended up doing was I ended up making like a checklist, essentially, and I would go through, and once I got in the email, I would check their name off. There's about 9 different manufacturers, not 9, like 6 different manufacturers, because the Children of the Vault is considered one, Torque's considered one, Malawan is considered one, Jacobs is considered one, and just by the nature of how each manufacturer makes their guns, you are gonna have a preference. So this might be one of the harder trophies on your list for you, especially if, you know, you are very much like, no, this is the way I like to play, and I don't really want to explore. I figured out my build, and this is going to work with it, or it's going to break my build. Yes, Doggo. How can I help you? Doggo is just walking around. 100 names for sand. Discovered all the named locations on Pandora. Yeah, I feel like this is just another one of the, like, by doing the side missions, you'll get this trophy type deal. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna let my dog out before he starts barking at me. Okay, I'm back. But yeah, this is just another one of the do the side missions, you will get the trophy type deal. Master of all you survey. This is for completing every single named location in Borderlands 3. Swamped was the one I was thinking of. Swamped was the bitch of a named location trophy because of that. But all in all, the things that are going to give this trophy the biggest amount of pause are the slaughter circles. Those are going to be your problematic ones. All in all. So keep your eyes open for those and you shall be fine. But like I said, you're going to have to basically do this one by doing all of the side missions anyway. So just keep your eyes out. Zeroed in. Defeat all of Zero's targets of opportunity. This is... Okay, so this one is also symbolized by a symbol of having his swords, 2 swords as an X. Go look for that symbol and you will get... Defeat all of those and you will kind of get this trophy. The thing I appreciate about this one is that this was basically how mini bosses worked. They were just slightly harder enemies than most of the other stuff, but it worked. For the last one I had was Crush Jaw. You can probably guess what his whole thing was. And for killing him, I got 28,711 XP. So definitely worth your time doing anyway, even if you're not going to go for all of the trophies. If you do just want to get max level, you know, these are really good ways of doing it. Doing these crew challenges. So keep in mind, worth doing. Also, you get a shit ton of money from it. So, you know, do them, bitch. Alright. Tales from the Iridians Lab. This is for deciphering all of the Iridians Lab, which is really annoying. The last one I did was on the Sanctuary ship. I do look like I'm holding on to a certain device. I think I needed to complete the story or something to pick it up before you can go ahead and do all of them. But there definitely was a reason why the one on the Sanctuary was the last one I did. I don't remember why that is. So, sorry about that. Slaughterhouse 3. This is for completing the 3 Slaughterhouse deals. This one was a nightmare. This is probably one of the hardest trophies if you're not having a build kind of style, which I have already said I didn't have. The build for me was not conductive to kind of doing these things. So Justin again once jumped back in and we dealt with it together. You know, it was fun. Difficult, but fun. I think we had to lower the insanity rating as well. 4.9 people have that trophy. Getting a little on the side, which is for doing all of the side missions. By the end, these got pretty stupid, I remember. Yeah, I'm trying to kind of like look around and see if there's anything specific. Nope, but just this is for completing every single side mission, which you will end up getting. Anyway, it's kind of like your big hurrah. And that was the last trophy I ended up getting. The and that was the Platinum Trophy, the Ultimate Vault Hunter, for sitting at a toasty 2.3% as an ultra rare trophy. Super good. Kind of just going through how many of these trophies did I get after hitting the max level cap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so the back 10 trophies I was basically just doing to complete the game, because I'd already reached max level. And I'm not sure what that says about the game's pacing. I'm not sure if it's better. Probably that I could use some work. Off the top of my head, hey, sorry if you can hear the dogs in the background, because they're just going absolutely wild. But I liked a lot of the gameplay of Borderlands, because I love Borderlands. At this point, at the point of platinuming Borderlands 3, I had platinumed every single Borderlands game at least once. And as of recording this, I've might have gone back and done one twice, and we might be getting that episode sometime in the future. Not near future, but sometime in the future we might be getting, more Borderlands content, even though I believe at this point I've covered every single Borderlands game on the show. But that's just going to be something we'll be doing. I absolutely love the Borderlands series, and with how the ending was, with this which we'll talk about in a minute, I don't really want a Borderlands 4. The idea was kind of floated by the game itself. So I definitely do think that the possibility of a Borderlands 4 is out there. I'm not sure if that possibility was wiped away with the DLC, because I haven't played it, and nor will I play it. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how to feel about the Borderlands series going forward, because of the story elements of this game. Especially with how they kind of struggled to keep all of their characters and give them adequate amount of time. I feel like this is a game that, with Tiny Tina only getting one, not even one, she's a part of one of the main campaign missions, kind of similar to how she was in Borderlands 2, but then you got to get a bunch of side missions with her, and then you got a whole DLC that is basically geared by her. You got a lot more with her in Borderlands 2 that I felt like she should have been a bigger part of Borderlands 3, especially with the fact that she is kind of grown up now, and she is a fan favorite character. I feel like they should have given her more space to kind of play. Then there's characters like Salvador that you never really see again, at least in base game. I feel like this game showed off that there was so much that they couldn't get it all in, so things had to be cut. But when you have a game that was already this big, you have a game that was already this long in the making, essentially. Oh no, the Beastmaster's name is Flack, not Mose. Mose is the gun girl. Yeah, sorry. I had to correct that for myself. I know it's 30 minutes later, but I had to correct it because I was gonna hate myself if I didn't catch that. Yeah, there's the Pickle never shows up again from Borderlands, the pre-sequel, which as a game that kind of segues into this one. And I feel like he could have at least been mentioned. I don't remember if he is at all. I know he definitely doesn't show up in the game. I know that Vaughn has a much bigger role in this game. Chris Hardwick's character from Tales of the Borderlands has a much bigger role to play in the game than I feel like he probably should. Narrative-wise, this game made a lot of weird decisions that I just don't want to be a part of going through the future. Like, and it's upsetting. I do want to kind of go into spoilers now. It's going to be a real quick spoiler section. Nothing really, because I don't really have a lot that I feel like I can spoil at this point. But just in case you don't want to hear about a specific character death, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what game you want me to do in the future, and I'll probably won't do it for another year and a half at the earliest. But are you guys still here? You're gone? Cool. Let's talk about Lilith's death, because that was bullshit. I get that the whole sacrifice, it was a noble thing, and I felt like there should have been a somber, not somber, but like a peaceful, and that was it. It was gone. Not Alicia Keys screaming at the top of her lungs, "This girl is on fire," which pissed me off so much that I still get into arguments with Justin about it today, about how it was bullshit and it robbed all of the emotion from the scene. He swears that it was a wonderful addition. He absolutely loved it, and he thinks it's what all games should be doing, is ending their video games with a nice punchy pop song, and I hated it. I stopped playing Borderlands 3 for a good week or so after that, because I'm like, I just need to breathe and take some space, because I'm upset. Which is disappointing, because up to that point I was really I loved it. I didn't like the new siren. I felt making Tannis a siren also made very little sense. It felt, through making Tannis a siren, it kind of felt like you can't have a girl in this series be important without her being a siren, which is cheap and shitty. I don't know. I struggled with a lot of the narrative beats of this game, and I want it to be better, and I do think that whatever is gonna happen with the Borderlands movie is very exciting. I hope it's good. I hope it gets made well. Do I think it can be? No. I think that Borderlands is a very specific feel, and it's a feel that you have to play, and how they're gonna make that into a movie. I look forward to seeing them try, and I look forward to watching it and hopefully not hating it completely. I just want good stories, and even though Borderlands, because the thing with Borderlands is that the stories have kind of been all over the place. Borderlands 1 is a terrible story. It is shit. It is an introduction to the world. Borderlands 2 is probably one of the best game. It's on my top 10 games of all time. Easily top 5 if I'm thinking about it. I dropped a thing. Sorry. And then Borderlands 3 is I sometimes forget that I platinumed this game, which, isn't great. But I don't know, man. This is one of the ones that I kind of feel weird about platinuming, because it's I don't know if this one was worth it. I've platinumed every single Borderlands game. I platinumed one of them twice. And I would say that even the one that I platinumed twice now was worth it. I have no bad feelings about the fact that I platinumed the game twice, especially with it being such a good game. But I just don't know, man. Let me know what you guys think about the Borderlands 3 and the Borderlands 3 as its own game, Borderlands as a series, if you want me to continue to cover Borderlands games, if 4 comes out, or maybe I'll go back and do another, well, we'll see. I don't want to promise anything too soon, because like I said, I want to talk about the fact that I did platinum one of these games twice, and in that video I want to kind of do what the rules are for revisiting a game, because I don't want to do revisits often. I feel like they are cheap. But yeah, that's kind of been everything. This is a 45-minute podcast, which feels a bit on the shorter side, but you know, it is double the length of what my videos are going to be. So yeah, thank you for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.